Hey guys, and welcome back to my Farthest Frontier Let's Play, where I can confirm that we just about made it through winter. The firewood production did pick up, people didn't freeze, and I don't think anybody died, so that was pretty much a win. In today's video, what I'd like to do is start working on a few fundamentals for us to be able to expand efficiently, and so that really is about food and it's about housing. I must admit, I didn't build this marketplace in the best possible area. If we look at its area of effect, a lot of it is sort of taken up with other things, so that is not ideal. Now, at the moment, we have room for 7 more people. As you can see, we're at 61 out of 68 people, and if I go ahead and press P, I can bring up this screen right here and we can sort of see our workers. 15 laborers up the top here, as you can see, is not bad at all, but a few more might be good. So I think let's get a couple houses built first, and that way if people start coming in as we improve our farming, which is the next thing I want to do, then we'll have room for them. Later on, I think what I'll do is make a second marketplace over here somewhere. I'm not sure entirely where that's going to go yet, but do it a lot more efficiently than this one and maybe dedicate an episode just to housing. But for today, let's have a look and see what we can do with the area we've already got. So first thing I'm spotting is this little corner right here. I think we can build a house there, and it should be hopefully like at least somewhat within the desirability area. So you get 9% there. It's not great, but for now that'll do as a temporary measure. So we're going to place that one down there. And where else could we do this? Let's have a look. Well, I'm noticing we've got some space over here, but actually one thing I did want to build was an extra storage area. So we go to storage here, this root cellar. I'd like to build one of these, and I think, yeah, there we go, that fits in there. So at the moment we have this root cellar here. So this of course is storing food for all of our citizens that live in this area, but I would quite like to have a second one in, as our food spoilage is still a little higher than I'd like it to be, and that will help with that. Another thing I think I'm going to do is move this building right here, then we can get another house in here, and this is our stockyard, so moving it might be a good idea anyway. So let's click on that and go to relocate the building and see where we can fit this in. I think just here is probably a good spot for it. I'm going to place it down over there. That way it's still nice and central to the town, which is important because it's going to hold all of our build materials, so we want those materials to be close to wherever they're going. It's also right next to the wagon shop this way, and the upcoming candle shop is here, as well as the Fletcher building and the firewood splitter. So there's a few things around here that will be able to store their items very quickly. So we'll go ahead, hit play, and go through this a little bit quicker. Once this has been moved, we'll get some more houses being built over there, and that should be enough at that point. Just clicked on this storehouse here, and I'm going to just test something out here. I'm going to get rid of all of the food that it's currently checked. So we're going to uncheck all of this, and hopefully no food will be stored in the storehouse. This is because I did get a notification on the storehouse telling me that it had lost a lot of food in the last year, and it is quite far away from like the housing and stuff. So hopefully with this done, it'll be a bit of an improvement. So with the storage yard move, we can get another house in over here, which would be great. So we've got that house being built there. We've got one over here as well. And so that will give us an extra 8 people that we can house if we need to. Now with those houses that are being built, in the meantime, what I want to do now is start looking at where we're going to place our farms. So if we go ahead and press F, then we can see all of the fertile land around here. It seems the more we come out this way, we've got some really fertile land right here. So this is what I want to make the most of, and I'm going to try and build a bit of a road network around this. So we already have this building over here. This is the work camp, and what I'm going to do is just extend the road here on a little bit further. So I'm going to build and walls and roads down here rather than just pressing N, because we want to do the cobbled roads. So let's see, where does that one end? Somewhere around here, right? Yep. So we just pick that one up from there, and let's see, we want to run it out this way, and let's turn fertility back on so we can see what I'm doing here. So I think a straight road up to about here is probably a good idea. Bear in mind, we've got to leave room for the fence as well, and then I'm going to come right up here with this one. So we've quite a big road network this, and we've still got a lot of green areas here. So I'm going to come right to the edge here and then start expanding this way to get it back towards the town. And actually, if I just go straight, it picks up from this long road we built before. So we've now got like this giant square, which we'll probably put intersections in and stuff. But for now, that is going to be a big area for our farming. We're running a bit low on stone. For these other roads, I think I'm actually just going to use the dirt road for now. So I'm going to run a dirt road right the way up here, just like this. And we'll connect that one up there, just like that, to this other road that we're planning. And we'll extend this road here as well. This one goes right from the center of the town, so it just makes sense to have that extended. And we can upgrade these roads later on when we've got some more stone. Now, everything inside this road network that I've built is looking pretty fertile. We could have some really good farms in here. So I'm pretty tempted to just build a fence the whole way around this thing. However, I think that might be a little bit inefficient. So I'm going to look instead to split this up into quadrants. As you can see, I've now managed to get this done into quadrants, and it doesn't actually take as long as you think to do this. If you would like to do something similar in your worlds, I'll show you how I did it, and hopefully this will be something that will help you out. So press N to get the road right here, and you can just sort of count along. So basically we had this road going up here, and over here we had this road up here. So we're looking for this center point here. So the way I did this, I just counted from the corner, and you can just count here each square, like 1, 2, 3, and so on. Now, obviously you don't know how long it is at first, but what you can do is get a rough idea as to where the midpoint is. On my first go, I actually guessed that this right here was the midpoint. So I just built a little bit of road, just like 5 blocks long, as like a measuring point. And I knew that I'd counted 17 from this way before making that. So then I came over to this corner, counted again, and only got to 15. So I knew it was actually 1 point over for the midpoint. Now, when you try and build roads next to each other, it doesn't really work. It doesn't work very well at all. So what you can do is I had this little bit of road coming out here, and all I did was made a little bit of road out like here, just as a marker, then deleted deleted the initial bit of road here, the one I placed that was like a few blocks long, and then just built the rest of this road all the way along here, knowing that this was the midpoint, and then went to this one and hit salvage, and obviously don't use any materials because we hadn't started building it as the game is paused. And then did the same on this one here. So now we've got 4 equal size squares as like a rough guide as to where we're building our farm. However, when it comes to farming in the game, there's a lot of production buildings that are going to be needed around them. For example, later on, we're going to want to have like a windmill to turn our wheat into flour, and then we can bake up that flour, which is going to be very useful. It'd also be a good idea to have a compost heap somewhere nearby, maybe some temporary shelter as well. So basically, although this is split nicely, there is something I want to do a little bit differently. So what I'm going to do is get my road out, and from the center point here, we're going to come down 1, 2, and on the third one, I'm going to build a road along just like this to connect it up to the other side. Make sure that's straight, so that would go there. Then we're going to do the same here. So 1, 2, and on the third, and this actually wasn't on purpose, but this nicely connects up with this road, so that's awesome. Then I'm going to go ahead and just salvage this road that I built down the middle here. So there we go, we've gotten rid of all of that, and I'm going to do the same here on the other side. So now we have this sort of grid pattern right here, and the advantage to this is that all this area in the middle here we can put down as other things if we want, such as buildings, compost heaps, temporary shelters for the workers, food storage, and so on and so forth. Now I will say that I've happened to do this in the most fertile place I possibly could, so this would have technically been better for farms. So if you're worried purely about efficiency, you probably would, build around this, but this was an idea I came up with afterwards, and I just thought I'd mention that to you guys. So let's have a look. We're going to need some storage buildings, and specifically I want the root cellar because this will store the food at a better temperature and reduce the spoilage of that food. So what I'm going to do, let's see, I've got this one facing this way, so we'll put that on that corner right there. Then I'll rotate a couple times, put another one on the corner here. I think it's a good idea to have those as our 2 most central buildings, as they are obviously going to be very important in this area. Next, I'm going to look at housing, and I'm going to put in a temporary shelter. Now, I don't know how many of these I'm going to need, but let's have a look. Let's get down next to this root cellar here, and I think I'll place that one just here like this, and then if people need to live there when they're working on the farms, they're able to do that. I'm also going to build in another composter, and again, this is something that probably I might need more of in the future, but for now we can just get on with this. Interestingly, this is a temporary shelter for this work camp here, and the composter being too near that is going to be a bad thing. As such, because we're building this temporary shelter here, I don't want that to be too close, so I might just put it on the corner over here. So yeah, we'll place that one just there for now, and we'll see how that one goes over time. It might need to be moved in the future. The other thing I'm going to need to start on is fencing off this area. So if I go build walls and roads, we're going to get some of this nice wooden fence right here. So I can build this next to the road all along the back here, just like this. Then I'm going to bring it down here to this corner and come in just one. And I'm going to do the same over on this side. So click here, go all the way down to there, and then come in just one. At this stage, I'm going to go ahead and get some gates in. So let's just zoom in here and see which way the gate is facing. So I can have it like this, so it's like opened into the road. Interestingly, when it's facing this way, when I go up to here, it seems to want to face inwards towards the farm. I suppose that's how it's meant to be. There we go. So that corner's now done. And then go back to the fence gate, select it there, put it in there. And then on this side here, we're going to do the same thing. So for some reason, that didn't build on this side either. If I left click there, it should now build. So if you're building a fence that's just one block, you have to left click twice. That was the issue there. Then we can put a fence there as well. So I'm going to copy this format for all of the fields. So we've got a fence gate here because this is closest to the town and they will need access to the town, and a fence gate in this central area as well. So this is all the stuff they're going to need access to in this area. Then of course we just need to fence the rest of this off. So from this fence gate across to this fence gate. So there we go. And then this will be our farmable area inside, of which we'll have 4 of them, of course, in each of the quadrants. So this is going to be a lot of building that's going to need to be done here, and also a lot of clearing of land, because to get the farms in here, then they're going to have to clear all this land. So I'm going to go ahead and get on with a lot of this. There'll probably be a lot of it done off camera if it's a bit, boring or just not entertaining, but I'll give you little updates along the way if anything interesting does happen. Just worth mentioning, if you have a big construction project like this going on, it's an idea to go to the wagon at the center of your town, this one right here that you start with in the game. And if it's got a lot of like build materials and tools and stuff like that in it, you can actually click this wheel icon here and select to move it out to near where you're building things. This was something I actually only learned recently in the game, but it is a useful tip for when you're building things early on. You can just go ahead and select to move your wagon to a different area. Now at the moment, this wagon that I have right here doesn't really have many build materials in it, so I'm not going to worry too much about it, but it's just something I wanted to mention as it will be a useful tip for you guys. So I've been busy clearing an area here and getting these farms prepared with a fence around them and stuff like that. I also built one of these right here, a stockyard, and already you can see it's got a lot of materials being stored in it. This was just to stop the villagers that are clearing this area here having to go all the way back to the town center to deposit their goods, and also as they build the fence and stuff like that, they can come and collect resources from here. So I prioritized that build just to make things a little bit faster, and I think so far that's working well. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and click on the crop fields here and get them farmed. So let's have a look at how we're going to do this, and I'll have a little think about this. So what I think I'm going to do is this field over here, I want to dedicate this to being a wheat field only. The others probably will have some crop rotation, but I want to have a big wheat production and get into the bakery and bread and stuff like that. So it's going to go 10 this way, and then let's see, the most we can go the other way is probably 12, I think, isn't it? Yes, we can build it out to here. Now, if we want this to all be one field, it's simple enough to do. What we just need to do do is let's just do like a 10 by 10 by now. And then once that's built, we can go ahead and click to expand it into these areas here. As for the other areas, these will be multiple farms. So I think what I'll do is we've got the 10 this way, and the maximum here would be, let's see, 15. So we can do like a 7 and an 8. So I think I'm going to do 7 on the extremities. So there's 7 by 10 there. Let's see on this one right here, we'll do the same. So let's get this down to like here. There we go. It's 7 by 10 there. And then we'll put 2 8 by 10s in the infill. So an 8 by 10 in there, and we'll do the same over here. And I'll do the same for this final field over here as well. This one will not be just wheat like the one that's over here. It's going to be 2 fields again, a 7 and an 8 by 10. Okay, there we go. So that's all planned out. It is going to take a long time for this to all be built. If we press P, then let's see here, we've got at the moment only 10 laborers. So this is definitely going to take us a while. I might see if there's areas I can like get some people removed from in order to get more workers. At the moment, 10 people are doing all of this farming stuff. So if we go ahead and select one of these, you can see that they are here working on these farms in order to sort of get them built. So although they're not laborers as such, they're still doing the same job for us. Now, we've got an impending heat wave, so I'm glad that I recently added a couple new wells into the town. I've got one over here and another one over here, so that should hopefully help us with that. You can see as well, we've reached our population limit here at 72 out of 72. Oh, and there's a building on fire. Okay, let's see how they all scramble to the well here. They grab the water and they come and put it out. Although they're dropping their buckets of water on the floor, I mean, this should really be a priority, guys. Can we get this fire put out? There we go. There we go. This farm over here has now been built, so what we can do is click on it right here. And then this button right here, expand the crop field, we just click that and then we can go next to it. So this is like where it finishes, it's in red. So as soon as it goes green, that's next to it, and just build along here like this. That way we do get our farm to be this full size here for this area. Again, this is going to be all wheat. Once it's done, we're going to have to start getting to a point where we can prepare it to be wheat, but I think this is going to be a nice thing to do to get a lot of wheat being produced here. We'll get like the granary nearby and the bakery and the windmill and stuff all up here, and yeah, that should be pretty productive. So as this field has been built already, what I'm going to do is start getting it prepared by doing a load of farm work, because the weed level is very high and the rockiness, it wouldn't hurt to get that down a bit as well. Of course, the fertility level is reasonably good because we built it in the right area, but there's certainly no harm in starting to prepare these fields whilst the others are being built. Now, I mentioned before that housing is going to be something I'm going to work on in a future episode, and that is still true. We're going to do a big housing development in the future, but I have added in a few houses just here. So this fisherman's shack that's right here was sort of at the end of this road, and we've just extended this out to down here, and I'm going to connect that with the road in a second. But as you can see, we now have 4 houses in development because we have a 72 population, which is completely full up. And those extra 16 people that we can have as a result of these 4 houses, I think are going to be really useful, especially with the farms being so labor intensive. You'll see that these 4 houses here are just about in the realm of the marketplace. This one here only has the corner bit in, and this one here only about like a third of it, but they're still there or thereabouts. So hopefully they'll be desirable enough, at least at this stage of the game. And perhaps when we do our big housing development later on, we might move some of these houses that are at the extremities and aren't getting the full benefit of the marketplace. Now we're running a little bit low on wood, so I'm going to go to my work camp here and uncheck this that says mature trees only, and just get them to harvest all the wood that's in this area. I'm also going to move this here. This is the work area. Let's retarget it to maybe about there, so there's a lot more wood in there that they can be getting, as we are running quite low on this. Longer term, I might move that work camp to up here somewhere, and they can sort of clear a lot of these trees here, and we can get on with a bit more wood production that way. But short term, we just need to pick up whatever we can. I'm also going to just select trees here and just do a big tree drive, big harvesting area just down here. It's all pretty close to the town center, and we can also do this area in here as well, just to get rid of these things. Just a bit of a progress update here. A couple of things that I've done. First of all, I've noticed that here we have this root cellar, but it's right on top of a clay deposit. Now we're going to need that clay soon, and we want to farm that, so I'm going to go ahead and move this building here over to here, so we have the root cellar put back over there. The reason for that is most of our food production is in this area right here. This over here is going to be all of the wheat production, and a lot of this over here I think I'll have as flax, which can be stored in different areas. We may also have to move this stockyard here. I'll see how we go with that one, but that's where we're at right now. On top of that, a few of the fields have already been created, as you can see here, so I've just been getting on with hoeing them mostly to improve their weed and rockiness. Although for some reason this field right here, no matter how much I hoe it, the weed level seems to be staying at 100%, which is very disappointing. I'm not entirely sure why that is or what's going on here. I will keep an eye on it though and give you little updates along the way. We may have to like destroy the field and start again or something, because I'm not sure if this is a bug. Obviously this game is still early access, so there might be a few issues like that at the moment. As you can see, our food right now is fantastic at 24, but the amount of spoilage there at 20 is a bit too much for me, and I'm going to try my best to get that down. So the first thing I've done is clicked on this wagon here, and I'm going to get rid of all food so that no food will be stored in this wagon. And I'm going to do this in any other storehouses and things we have. So like this storehouse right here, we already did it there, and so hopefully now with no food being stored there and none going into the wagon, it'll all go into the root cellars where it belongs. This might not be a perfect system, but hopefully it is at least going to help. And I'm also going to ask in the Farthest Frontier Discord, which I recommend you guys join if you want help with this game. I'll put a link to that Discord as well as my own Discord down in the description. If you guys want to chat about Farthest Frontier or just hang out, then feel free to to join. On this topic, one thing I am noticing is that the food storage of these right here is starting to fill up. So these are the root cellars that are near our farm. So I'm going to build a second one in there like that, and I'm going to put one on the corner here like that. So 2 more of those. Hopefully that's really going to help to store all the food that we're producing over here. Now you'll see here I've got this icon above the compost yard. So that says there that the compost is ready to be spread on the fields. So if we click that and then we click over here, this is the compost, then we can choose which field we want to add it to by clicking add compost. Now, as this one here is only at 61%, it's the lowest of the lot, we're going to go ahead and add the compost into that one. This field over here has now had 3 lots of work done on it, and its weed and rocks have not yet improved. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and destroy the field and rebuild it and see if that helps. So we click on this field, we can click salvage right there and salvage that field, then go to building, food production, and rebuild it. And hopefully this is going to make a big improvement. I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. But another thing I want to do is go back down to the storage right here and get one of these things here built. This is a granary. So this is going to be useful once our wheat field is up and running. And I think having a couple of these is probably a good idea. So I'm going to place one here like this and one here like this, nice and central and close to the wheat field. This field down here has now been done. So this is now one giant field that connects up with this one right here. So we're going to go and put some wheat in here. So let's just go ahead and click there. That should be fine. And they can get started on that. So let's see, no, we don't want to remove that. Just get started with that one. That should be good. And while that's being done, we're also going to go down here to food production and make one of these things, the windmill, because this is going to grind wheat into the flour that we can then use in the bakery. Now it's suggesting the arrow for this is sort of at an angle, but I would have thought we'd want it like around here like this. So what I might do is actually center these here like this, and let's see how many we can place down. If we place one right on the edge there and right on the edge there, so next to that one, and then one in the middle. So then we can have 3 of these that are going to be processing the wheat into the flour. And we've got the granary built here as well. So basically this is for the storage of wheat, but also other grains, which means that rats won't be getting to it as easily. Now, in order to build the windmills, we are going to need some heavy tools, as you see here. These heavy tools are not something that can be made. They have to be bought from the market. So now seems like a great place to build the, the trader is actually the technical name for that. So under buildings and then amenities and services, we have this one right here, the trading post. Now I like to keep it pretty central, the trading post. You can see here the arrows are on, I think, 3 of the 4 sides. So let's see what 3 they're on. Okay, so those 3 right there, as we're looking at this right here, you can see it's like in front of us and to the left and right. But this actually fits in here perfectly, which is kind of a nice spot for it because it's very central to it. As the town's going to be expanding, it's going to be quite central to that. So let's go ahead and put that in there. And I'm going to prioritize this building because we don't have any guarantee that the traders that do show up are going to have the heavy tools. So as it could take a while to get those heavy tools, let's get that built as soon as possible, and then we can start getting those hopefully. Okay, I rebuilt this field here. This is on 85% weed level. So let's go ahead and add some workers in here, and let's just see what happens with this weed level. Seems like there might be some sort of issue with the weeds here, but I'm not sure what that could be. Okay, we've got the wheat going on here, but we did unfortunately get some crop disease. So basically when you have this crop disease, it just means that the crop yield will be a fair bit lower. Now as a result of that, first of all, the ways that we can stop that from spreading is if we had if this was say 4 different farms in this fenced area that you're seeing right here, if we had it set up where each of the 4 farms was wheat, then if you get the crop disease in one, it's likely to spread to the other areas. Now, we didn't have that, so that's good. But if we continue to grow the same crop year on year, then this won't be good. It will just mean the disease will spread, and it's just more likely to keep coming back each year, basically. So what I'm going to do for year 2, let's click here. I'm going to add in some of these things right here. So this right here, you can see there, this is the clovers, and it is the big impact on fertility in a positive way with +5 out of a possible +5. And we can add 2 of these into the year. So let's go ahead and put these 2 roughly where they're staggered and not affecting other things. And this should help long term because it will just improve the fertility. And then go ahead and get rid of these things. And then in year 3, that's when I'm going to try to grow my wheat once again. And hopefully we'll have a bit of more luck with it that time around. And I'm just going to move the time of year that's going to be growing slightly as well, just to, change that around, see if that's going to help at all. So just looking at this field over here, and this one again seems to have a weed level problem at 100%. So I think there's some sort of bug maybe in the game at the moment. I'm just going to go ahead and add a load of people in here, hoeing the land, and see if this is going to help or not. Not sure entirely, why this is quite happening, but I'll try and figure it out throughout this video, and I'll keep you guys posted. One thing I know that it could be is the fact that these farmers here have all been busy working on other things, and maybe when they're doing the work on the farm, they haven't got enough time to do the work properly. Anyway, let's keep an eye on that as we go through, and we're waiting on our trading post to be built. So I think that's down here. Oh, almost built. Fantastic. Okay, so here's the trading post, and I could probably make a whole video on this if I wanted to, but just for the sake of this let's play, I'm going to go through what I would do in the way that I'm going to play this. So first thing I'm going to do is transfer a load of gold here. So I can type in the number I want. So let's go 1,000, hit enter and confirm. That leaves me with a little bit of gold for other things if I want it, but we can transfer all that across. Now you need gold there in in order to buy things. We're hoping to buy some heavy tools and such when somebody turns up to trade with us. However, we're playing on pacifist mode, which is why I can transfer all this without worry. If we weren't on pacifist mode, then we are subjected to raids. During raids, you can lose a lot of your gold, and so I wouldn't have transferred quite so much without at least protecting it first and having some buildings around it that are going to defend it. Okay, this is our first trader coming here. Let's see if we can select this person. Maybe not. He said the trading post. Yep, there we go. So he's just pulled up out the front here. We have a trader in. So let's go ahead and just pause real quick and see what's going on here. Okay, here we go. Here's the trader's inventory. You got the heavy tools right here. Now it looks like they're 383. Is that each? Wow, that is a lot. So to buy 3 heavy tools, which we need for our 3 windmills that we're trying to build over here, it's going to cost us 1,149. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer the 149 gold over. So let's just give that some time to take effect. Oh, and there's another trader showing up. Maybe they'll give us a better deal. We can check that in a second. So let's wait until they show up and then I'll show you how this works. Okay, so now you got here this tab right here for trader 1 and this tab right here for trader 2. So only trader 1 is selling the heavy tools here. Trader 2 is not offering those to us. So we're going to have to deal with the first trader. However, the trader 2 here is offering to sell us some cows. There are 5 cows in here right now, which is pretty cool and something I'd like to get into. We have to go down this route of buying these cows in order to herd them up. So this is something that would be later on in the game when it comes to like animal rearing, whereas at the moment we're more just into the crop farming side of things. As you can see, the cows are incredibly expensive, so it's not something I'm going to get into just yet, but if you're wondering how you get cows in the game, that's how you do it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead here, click on these heavy tools, drag this number up to 3. There we go. And we're going to buy the heavy tools just like that. Now we can hit play here and these windmills will be able to be built because we got 3 windmills and we bought 3 lots of heavy tools. Now I was wondering what was happening to my heavy tools because obviously we bought them, but these windmills weren't getting completed. So I went back to the trading post and realized that they're still here. And what you have to do is click this. So transfer the items, right? And we go here. So these are in the trading post. We want to put all 3 of them over here in the global storage. So we need to like drag this until this says 3 here and then click confirm. There we go. So now we're going to get them into our storage. So once you put items at the trading post, they won't automatically be put into your storage. So do make sure that you don't make that mistake that I made. You get them put into your storage so they can be used. Incidentally, you can see that from the wheat field that we have here, and bear in mind we got an infestation, so a lower output of wheat. If we click on the granary right here, this one is over half full and the one next to it is about half full. So you do need a few of these granaries in order to store this wheat. Of course, we're going to be soon hopefully producing that wheat into flour as well. So some of the wheat will go over into these areas as well. But still, if you're storing it for a while, you will need a few granaries. And here we go. We have a windmill. Look at that. Doesn't that just look beautiful? And we have a second windmill and soon I'm sure we're going to have the third. So there we go. These do take people to work them. You can add the number of people working them if you wish. I think for us at the moment, given we've got 3, it's probably going to be fine. And yeah, they're going to produce flour, which is awesome. But producing the flour is, it's all very well, but then we need to process that flour with a bakery. So let's go ahead here. We click on the build menu. Let's go to food production and let's see where's the bakery. This one right here, I believe. Yep, there we go. So you see that it's going to need firewood, it's going to need flour, it's going to need water. So let's see, where can we put the bakery? Well, desirability is a bit of an issue with this building, so we just need to find a good place for it. If I put it here at 0%, that looks like it might be the best we're going to get. So that's fine. We'll place the bakery down in here and maybe later on we can put a second one back onto it if we need it. But for now, we'll just get that put in over here. I'm also going to look to build a well around here. So let's go onto the well here and see where's going to be a good place for this. So 59% water bonus here isn't the best. It's not terrible. It's not great. 66 around the back here. Yeah, that's probably a good spot. Let's put it in there. I'm doing this because the bakery is going to need water. And in fact, we'll prioritize that and get that built first. But also, just in case any of these buildings do catch on fire, at least there is a well nearby so they can go and put that water onto the fire and put the fire out, basically. Now, this farm here was causing us trouble before, but as you can see, now that we've worked it this time around since the rebuild, the weed level and rockiness has gone down. So I think we're heading in the right direction. All right, our bakery has just been built. How exciting. So let's have a look at this thing. Okay, so here we go. We got someone in here working in the bakery and they're going to be making us some bread, which is going to be awesome and will be a good food source. The only thing is this travel time is quite high. We do have the sheltered housing just next door here, but it doesn't seem to be getting used very much. So let's go ahead and try and just remove this person a second and then add someone else back in. Let's see. I think that's the same person. All right, this must be the only person we have available to us, I think. Well, we'll see how we go with that for now. I guess, the bread production is going to get underway and it's something we can work on in the future to getting it done, a bit faster and a bit better. What I am going to do is go ahead and click on these roads here and upgrade them to these cobbled roads as we've got a bit more stone going on now. There we go. Select that one, upgrade that one, and let's do this one right here as well. So basically the main road in and out of there is going to be a little bit faster now, and that should just help with the whole productivity of everything and cut down on travel times and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed today's farming themed episode. This was something I really wanted to get done, get us off to a great start with the food, and it gives us a solid foundation to build on in the future. But for now, I just want to say, if you're enjoying this series, please do consider liking and subscribing. But thank you all for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.